the status of 2 zoning cases, as well as a police disability issue. And then for personnel matters, we talked about committee assignments. With that being said, Mr. Neese, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Altieri,
Here.
Ms. Roberts Lightcap,
Here.
Ms. Chanlis, Mr. Russo,
Here.
Mr. San Francisco,
Here.
your engineer, manager, and solicitor are here.
Thank you very much. Now we will do a moment of silence. And we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, moving down to section 5.1. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Section 6, public comment for agenda items only. If there's any members of the public who wish to provide any public comment, please go up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, we will move down to section 7. 7.1. Can I get a motion approving the minutes from the September 22nd, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. Is there any board discussion?
I'm gonna abstain because I was not here.
Is there any other board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, all those abstain.
Aye.
So the motion carries 4-0 with 1 abstention. Supervisor Russo is abstaining. 7.2, can I get a motion approving the minutes from the September 8th, 2025 meeting, which were tabled at the September 22nd, 2025 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Section 8, reports. 8.1, report from the Township Engineer, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening. Yeah, as you'll see from the rest of the agenda, we've been closing out multiple of the projects that have been going on over the past year, a lot of the stormwater type projects. And now we're moving in towards starting to award and bid out the projects that we'll be doing over the winter, such as the retaining wall later on the agenda, and then some future stormwater and capital improvement projects. We've also been working on the board's direction, looking at the pedestrian crossings on Route 3 and 252. We've started submitting some of the updated site permit plans, and we're working on additional plans for new signage and improvements to the intersection for various pedestrian crossings.
Any questions for the Township Engineer?
Well, while we have him, can he just shed some light on these change orders?
We can do it now or during the agenda items.
Let's do it as we go down through each agenda item. Is that fine?
Okay, that's fine.
Any other questions for the Township Engineer? All right, 8.2, report from the Township Manager, Mr. Neese.
Just my only report is just a real quick update on the weather from last night into today. Well, I guess it was actually Sunday earlier. We did have 2 trees down. One was actually taken care of by the residents by the time our public works team got there over on Langolan Road. So we thank the residents that took care of that. We did go back and make sure it was further back today. And then the other one was on Bryn Mawr Avenue, and we addressed that during the storm. So the team was out taking care of things. We've been checking all the stormwater inlets, and they seem to be doing pretty well. The good news is the rain was actually more steady than it was down users. So it was rain that we needed, but it also helped us watch the flow of water. And so we did that with some of the particular places where we knew we've been having trouble. And we've been hearing good news. Eric and I talked the project at Upper St. Albans
I drove by that today.
is actually working really well. The residents are very happy with that project, at least those that had the impact in the direct area where we were. So that was a great project. And I think you'll see, Eric will talk about the couple change orders, but that we're getting ready to close that out. But that was a really positive project for the township.
Perfect. Any questions from the Township Manager? All right, section 9, payments, 9.1. I get a motion approving contract change order number 1 for a net increase of the contract totaling $51,283.50 for Jurek Incorporated associated with the Upper St. Albans Stormwater Improvement Project as approved by the Township Engineer. Let's get this motion made and seconded, and then in board discussion, we'll turn it over to Eric if the board's fine with that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Roberts Lycap, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Mr. Johnson.
Thanks. So really the gist of that change orders, we ended up doing more work as part of the project. We had a good contractor, and while we started digging into it, we ended up expanding the scope, and we replaced, there was a various stormwater inlets at the intersection that once we dug in, and we were going to be connecting into them, they were in pretty bad shape. So we were able to procure and reconstruct all those inlets around there. We also had one utility conflict that required us to modify one of the boxes at the same intersection, Lewis and Cayley. And then some additional paving. The end result, as Mr. Nease was saying, the project turned out really well. We've talked to a lot of neighbors, and they've really been pleased with the result. And we just ended up doing a larger project while we were there, so that we don't have to go back and deal with the stormwater intersection again in that area.
Any questions for the engineer?
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 9.2, can I get a motion approving the certificate of payment request final totaling $53,112.82 for Jurek Incorporated associated with the Upper St. Albans Stormwater Improvements Project as approved by the Township Engineer, leaving a retainage balance of $0.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lycap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 9.3, can I get a motion approving contract change of order number 1 for a net increase of the contract totaling $4,800 for Instoform Technologies Incorporated associated with the Upper St. Albans CIPP installation project as approved by the Township Engineer. And we'll do the same thing if we can get this made and seconded, and then in board discussion, we'll turn it over to Eric.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Mr. Johnson.
Great. So this was the contract for the lining of the pipe that went from Horton Road into the back yard of those houses, where in lieu of replacing the pipe, we ended up lining it. And however, when the contractor got in there to do it, we ended up having to manually, he had to go in and chip out. There was a big lump of concrete that had found its way into the pipe, not entirely sure where or how it got there, but they had to be removed by a guy with a jackhammer inside the pipe. So that was the additional cleaning required. The liner went in, it looks great, and we're not going to have to ever touch that pipe again for a long time. So
Perfect. Any other board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 9.4, can I get a motion approving the certificate of payment request number 1 final totaling $45,798.65 for Instoform Technologies Incorporated associated with the Upper St. Albans CIPP installation project as approved by the Township Engineer, leaving a balance of $0.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Roberts Lycap, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board discussion? The only thing I want to say is, Eric, as I said, I drove through there today, and I wanted to make this comment after the last Upper St. Albans thing, but I too have heard nothing but positive things from the residents on those, actually in that area. From the contractor's perspective, by and large, I think one person was upset. They claimed that they didn't get noticed, but people were very happy. The staff there was professional. The guys who were working, they were in and out. It wasn't a project that was prolonged. And it's another one of these investments that the board continues to make in stormwater across the township. So I think it's great that we're pushing, checking off that list of issue areas where there's stormwater needed. And I think that this is just another good project where the township was able to execute that and deliver for the residents. So thank you for that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 9.5, I get a motion approving the certificate of payment request number 6, final totaling $43,105.33 for Garland DBS Incorporated associated with the municipal complex roof project as approved by the Township Engineer, leaving a balance of $0.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lycap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 9.6, can I get a motion approving a refund of $100 to AA West Company Incorporated for a permit review fee for 19 Pickwick Lane? A permit application was submitted, however, a permit was not required for the project.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lycap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Like a Ron Burgundy. It would have been funnier. It would have been funnier to see if I read it out loud or not. 9.7.
Just let him do it. Yeah.
Consider approving a refund of $100 to Mencken Generators for a permit review fee for 837 Goshen Road. A permit application was submitted, however, the address is not part of Newtown Township.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Laycap. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. 9.8, I get a motion approving a refund to Mr. Dennis Burke of $87.25 for the late fee paid with the 2025 township taxes paid for his residence at 3559 Muirwood Drive, Newtown Square, PA 19073.
So moved. Second.
Motion was made by, my goodness, Supervisor Roberts Laycap. Supervisor Roberts Laycap seconded. You would have thought that that was the first motion of the night right there. I mean, my goodness. Motion was made by Supervisor Roberts Laycap, seconded by Supervisor Chandler. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Section 10, bills, 10.1. I've reviewed the bills and I'll make a motion to approve the bills on check register dated October 10th, 2025, totaling $426,979.62.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, seconded by Supervisor San Francisco. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, section 11, new business, 11.1. Can I get a motion accepting the code stars number 207172 proposal from Institute Form Technologies LLC in the amount of $36,751 for the work to clean and reline 286 linear feet of stormwater pipe off French Road?
Second.
Motion made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Chandler. Is there any board discussion? Mr. Neese.
So if you'll recall, you actually approved replacing some pipe along that section. And we went in and we replaced it and it was needed. The pipe was actually falling out and had kind of gone away. We got back in there and realized that the pipe that we connected to, the bottom was starting to rot out. And so instead of replacing that whole section, if we come back in with this lining, it basically creates a plastic pipe within that, and it will be attached to the plastic pipe that's there. My understanding is we're actually lining even the new pipe because they can't stop midway through, so they have to go through the whole distance. But it's still less expensive than it would have been to replace all of that pipe all the way back to that manhole. And so that is the recommendation of our engineer and the staff. And the engineer in this case is McCombie.
Steve, how's the cul-de-sac, the conversation,
It-
is it better?
It's better. We still, Eric and I and George are still monitoring some stormwater flow that's not related to the line that's there. It's related to the water before it gets to that inlet. So we're probably going to have another potential recommendation to you, or potentially a requirement of one of our residents. They may have actually inadvertently diverted the water by something they did. So we're just we're trying to make sure our information is correct before we ask people to do anything. But we do need to figure out how to keep the water from going down this driveway. And so
How about with the contractor with keeping the actual cul-de-sac or the street clean? I mean, the actual street, like the cleanliness, the whole maintenance of
the
that.
contractor's done.
Okay.
And so they've come in and it actually looks pretty good. I've seen pictures as
Good.
of today, that the easement itself is growing back. It's not quite at 70% yet, but we're making good headway, which is good. This rain, I'm sure, helped us to make that grow even a little bit better. And so that's really good. The contract that we're also watching is the house at the corner of French and Earls. That's the one that's actually causing the water to come down. Andy and Zach have been really on top of them, making sure that their stormwater management stays in place. and those things. And so is Eric's team. They're really watching that more closely, because evidently they had taken it out because they were doing something. But anyway, I think they're working towards stabilizing that property. And so we're watching that, but we're also watching that inlet that's right there, making sure, because if for some reason that inlet gets blocked up.
Perfect. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 11.2, can I get a motion exercising the 4 remaining 10-year extensions of the township's lease of Drexel Lodge Park from the municipal authority, such that the lease will expire in March of 2070?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts. Lightcap, Mr. Neese.
Yeah, so you have a long-term lease with the municipal authority. I think it was originally a 50-year lease, and then you have an option for 4 10-year extensions. In order for us to take the next item on your agenda on, which is related to planting 55 trees and us taking ownership of those 55 trees, we need to have control of the site. And we need to have it for at least 2 years, for at least 20 years, in addition to the 5 years that are still left on the current lease. So we were recommending to the board to act on all 4 of your extensions, because I can't imagine that you're not going to want that to be a park for a long term. And so this will allow you to continue to use that land for a park for the next 40 years, in addition to the 5 years that are left on the current contract.
And that also runs into 11.3.
And it runs by doing this, it'll give us the power of controlling the property. So when we do 11.3, I can sign the document that we can guarantee that the trees will be protected for 25 years.
Perfect. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 11.3, consider approving the Chester Ridley Crum Creek Watershed Association's proposal to plant a riparian buffer consisting of 55 trees/shrubs at Drexel Lodge Park, and authorize the township manager to sign all required documents. No active recreation area is affected, only the area next to Preston Run, which is overgrown with invasive species.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Chandler, seconded by Supervisor Roberts. Lightcap. The board already had an explanation of why we're doing this with regards to 11.2, so I don't think there's any other board discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 11.4, I get a motion approving the award of contract for number 2025-03 Stony Brook Boulevard retaining wall modification to Parkland Landscape and Hardscape LLC in the amount of $42,980.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Roberts. Lightcap. Pretty self-explanatory, Mr. Neese, but my understanding is that this came down much lower than what we were expecting.
Yeah, I think the engineer, and he's here and he can talk about it. We think originally, I think we were anticipating closer to 90,000 for this project. But we made some adjustments to it, and we're doing less of a wall and more of a piece going back, which should have a longer term benefit to the township, and that we shouldn't have to replace the wall in the future. So I think that this is a positive in that way, but we need to get that because the wall's leaning.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, motion carries. 11.5, can I get a motion approving the advertisement authorizing execution of a cable franchise agreement between the township and Comcast of Southeastern Pennsylvania LLC?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Chandler. Mr. Neese, I will turn it over to you, but it seems like this is the time of year, because I had 3 township meetings last week, and all 3 of them, 2 of them in Chester County, 1 of them in Montgomery County, and they were all putting this on their agenda.
Yeah, well, and we probably might have another one not too far in the distant future for the Verizon side. So, yeah, so you have a cable franchise fee that we get from Verizon and Comcast for using our right-of-ways. We engaged Cohen, remember their second name, Cohen and somebody, Cohen Law Group, to assist us through the process. What you're doing is advertising. At your next meeting, there'll actually be a hearing. You're actually going to have a couple hearings at your next meeting, so we're just going to add this to it. But this will be a hearing, and then you will have an opportunity to vote on that agreement, and then we'll sign the documents, and we'll be back in step with a current agreement with Comcast, and I think it's for 10 years, if I recall.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. 11.6, consider approving the township as a Purple Heart sponsor in the amount of $500 for the 11th Annual Freedom Medal Dinner.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor San Francisco, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Is there any board discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. 11.7, consider approving the 2026 contract with Brandywine Veterinary Hospital with the following changes contingent upon solicitor approval. $6 monthly increase, making the monthly fee $150. $2 a day increase for boarding and stray, making the daily boarding fee $50.
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Russo, seconded by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't
This
think
is
there's
our,
anything to
this is our annual agreement
Yeah.
with them. And so I think there's only one minor change that we know that needs to be made, and Rich is reviewing it to see if there's anything else. They had the wrong address for some reason. We got the new one? Oh, okay. So we got the new one with the right address, that their address. They didn't even have our address wrong. They had their own address wrong. So but other than that, Rich will review it, and once, I mean, it's the same agreement that we've done other years. So we will just move forward and get this.
Perfect. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, section 12, board comment. Do any board members have any public comment to provide?
I could just point out just one correction. I think I gave you a list. You announced the executive session earlier, and I think I put discussion of a police disability issue under litigation, and I think I meant to put that under personnel.
Oh.
So if we could just have the minutes reflect that change.
Perfect.
My error, sorry.
Thank you, Rich. Any other board comment? And just in case I wasn't heard, so at the beginning, when I announced that we had executive session, I said that there are 2 litigation matters. In reality, there's only 1 litigation matter. It's the status of 2 zoning cases. And for personnel matters, it's a police disability issue and committee assignments. Perfect. All right, section 13, public comment. If there's any members of the public who wish to provide any public comment, please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Paul Seligson, 4727 Mill Hollow Lane. A few things. So we have the evaluation from American Bloom. Here it is. And I wonder if you guys might consent to posting it on the township website.
Keep going, public comment.
So this is the evaluation from American Bloom. And it, it's like 25 pages long, and it has colored pictures, and it goes into great detail.
No, I didn't mean necessarily on that. I just meant on your public comment.
Okay, so you,
You asked if we would post it on the website, so just continue with your, I didn't mean to cut into you, but continue with your public comment.
all right, so the next thing is a tree planting for Janet Elliott's farewell. Janet Elliott and her husband Glenn are leaving town, and they're going to the Boston area where he has a lot of support family. And we had a little reception for her as a farewell. And from there, we'd like to plant a tree in Drexel Lodge Park, sort of wherever Public Works, wherever the board would like. We're open to suggestions. Newtown Square and Bloom would pay for the tree. And I mean, what we're thinking, our recommendation is sort of at the beginning of Drexel Lodge Park. So if you can picture when you drive up Westchester Pike, you're heading east. And there's that sort of rocky formation, and there's a sign that says enter. It would be somewhere in there, and it could be like a magnolia tree or something that would have leaves quite, a long time, year round. So, is there a reaction about that? Or?
Public comment, there's never reactions.
Okay, so the next is, then I guess I need to make time to ask this. Planters at St. Albans Circle. So in the evaluation, the advisors suggest that St. Albans Circle, which they're very enthusiastic about and they like very much, and I had to pry them out of there. They suggested that we add 4 clamshell planters around the streetlight posts, as well as some big saucer planters on the islands, on certain islands that wouldn't interfere with traffic And again, the Newtown Square and Bloomwood paper planters. I sent you all a cut sheet of how it would look. So these are like two halves and then they're pushed together on the street poles. And so I will make time, ask that in a different setting. And lastly, the amusement tax. Now, I would like you, this is not the right format, obviously now, but I would like to know where the amusement tax sits just currently. It might be with still PGA, how much it is, and what's the distribution of it. And I will get on the docket so that I make a presentation about that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for public comment? All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.